Have you heard of space internet? 4,000 small satellites orbiting Earth, beaming down high-speed broadband to the most remote nooks on the planet, reaching billions. SpaceX, Virgin Galactic, Boeing, and Airbus are all racing to make space internet a reality. This scheme depends on CubeSats, low-cost, bite-sized satellites that many view as the future of telecommunications and deep space exploration. But these CubeSats have a big problem. Conventional rockets with their huge chemical fuel tanks are too large and too powerful for CubeSats, which are as tiny as Rubik's Cubes or small printers. It'd be like strapping your bicycle to a monster truck. So CubeSats are currently built without propulsion and can't be controlled once in orbit. This restricts CubeSats to lower orbits, safe from collisions with normal satellites. After a few months, the CubeSats fall back to Earth. What CubeSats need to stay in space are mini boosters, and scientists are racing to build them. And if you look inside this chamber, we can show you one, capable of blasting them deep into the cosmos.
I grew up in Mexico, and I was very young. I watched Carl Sagan's Cosmos as probably every other child in my generation.
The cosmos is also within us. We're made of star stuff. We are a way for the cosmos to know itself.
That inspired me to study the stars, to work on things that leave the Earth.
Paulo Lozano is the director of the Space Propulsion Lab at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. He's found a solution to the CubeSat problem, and the idea of fueling his mini rocket is simpler than you might think.
What we can do is to rub the plastic on any fabric, really, and you can put a little bit of liquid on your finger and then get it close, and you will see the liquid flying, producing a little cone, and then flying to the plastic.
That's static electricity, and it's not just tugging at the droplet. Look more closely and you'll see the static creates a spray of charged molecules called ions. Lozano's tiny rockets, which are the size of quarters, generate these ion sprays.
They don't produce a lot of force, so it's always less than the weight of a mosquito.
This may sound wimpy, but even a
gonna need to turn down the music. I will be with you guys shortly. Right guys, should be able to hear me now. Obviously today is the launch day of SpaceX or Elon Musk's Falcon Heavy. Dude with the camera's gone mental. Don't know what's up with that. Knocked off the stream. Good job. And me. So that's good timing. Thanks for that, guys. It will be resuming relatively soon. Let me just go to this. Just turn that off for the moment. Alright, I will put SpaceX live stream on there once it begins. It's got like 42 minutes left, as you can see on here. You got like a clock. So you should be able to see in all its glory. We're going to play a bit of PlanetSide 2 just while we wait for the next 40 minutes, and we'll watch the launch. I am running Final Fantasy at the moment as well, so we're all two demanding games and streaming 1080p, 60 FPS, and all that other crap, but yeah, it should be able to handle it, so whatever. Let's just jump in. I'm just gonna go, you know what, can I cancel this? Can I cancel? Oh, nope. Is the answer to that. Mrs. Nose is like, nobody's business right now. I think I'm gonna stay TR anyway, just because why not? What's my DPI? 1500. Yeah, I think we'll stick to TR. I don't know what like the sound is in the game. Obviously I don't want to turn it up too loud, because if it's too loud I won't be able to hear. Well, I don't know, whatever. Oh. She wound him up. Right, anyway, like I say, all my kids crying in the background. We will crack on with the stream regardless. Hopefully the game's not going to lag that much. I mean, it's not lagging for me when I play it, but it might be lagging for y'all. So we'll see. I mean, once it gets going on live stream there, if I wasn't running Final Fantasy, I don't kind of want to jump out of Final Fantasy at the moment. But yeah, we'll see how things are. We will go to, let's see, how would doing population. Didn't show you what the controls like. What's this? Populated players new to PlanetSide 2. Well, I'm not new, so whatever. Indar, Amarish. I like Amarish. I like Indar. And they're both locked, so that's great. Esamir, Snow. I mean, it's all equals. Let's. Oh no, it's not. TR's down by 1%. Son's crying his face off because my missus told him that she's going to London tomorrow to work. So you're not going to be here for me, so I'm going to cry my face off now. Obviously, I'm using this microphone, so things might be a bit louder. Then it's just because my headset's in my bag, and I kind of don't want to get that out because I want it to be free when the stream starts. So sorry if it's a bit loud and all that crap, but yeah, I'll say unbelievable. Can't believe. He's crying for no reason at all. Right, let's go to Ymir Southern Reach. Get over there. Can I do like, well, can I BRTD here? I don't want to join BRTD tonight because obviously I'm here for the purpose of what class am I? Am I heavy? Oh yes. I've gotten used to using this gun as a heavy. I really like it. It's fracking awesome. I've got quite a lot of kills so far with it. I've got this is the covert ops spotting light or whatever. So yeah, that's nice. Let's see if I can instantly deploy because we've just taken that. Let's just redeploy and just join in with the fray. I'm hoping the stream ain't going to be lagging. Let me know if it is. There. Right. And we're just going to go jump up. And it's going to take me to where I'm going to go anyway. You know what? I will shut down for the taxi.
Hostile light assault trooper spotted!
About half an hour, so I'll check back with the stream later. Right, how are we doing here, guys? We're making a push on the plant. So, point of our objective is get up to this. They've got little things to get up. We'll run in here, do all this stuff. Maybe I should add in some text just for anybody that's joining that maybe doesn't know what the hell I do. I do gaming videos until launch. Yeah. So we're just waiting for that. There you go. Right. Hunky dory, guys. Hunky dory. Right, back to the game. I'm gonna go full screen as well. That's fine. That's better. Available in 46 seconds. Right, we are heading out. He's gonna stay as a heavy. Again, let me know what it sounds like. It's a crab. Platform over there. This is the entry point. But it looks like those guys are struggling because some of those guys can come out. But I guess you could be in it to win it. camera's a bit bigger today because I'm going to be doing some coverage of the launch later on. So, yep. This landing pad is absolutely busted trapped. So I think we're going to have to spawn here. And they're taking our A points, so we need to get in there and hold them down a bit. Come on, boy.
I can repair it.
Got them on their heels. We've successfully defended the facility.
Ah. Hope somebody gets me on. But I can't feel bad. Yo, damn it, man. Just streaming some planet side while we're waiting for the launch of the Falcon Heavy. Passing some time now. As soon as we get to that point, I'll stop streaming, but we'll watch the launch and see how it went. Going down in there. Let me know how the stream is going. Is it smooth? Is it... I have to shut down Falcon. Oh, jeez. Let me redeploy. Holy crap, hold on.
Show me what you're made of.
I can hear it on the TV behind me. You guys can hear it. Right. Let me. Oh. Why is it there? It was right there a second ago. Oh, there it is. Looking forward to this. I'm gonna use it all. We ain't got A point, we ain't got no control, we got nothing here. We kinda need to bring in some armor, I guess. Sort out their armor, so
They're pushing us around out there.
there's really no point going back here. We got like 40 seconds, so we've got to regroup here at the bulwark and Get ready. Oh, you can't see it yet. There you go. There you go, guys. SpaceX. Excited. Woo! There we go. Alright, so let's get into position. Don't know what position that is, but we'll get there. I think the stream's lagging a bit, but that's because I'm doing so much crap. Once the stream is starting, or once the launch is starting, we'll be able to close down the game and have a watch of the launch. I mean, the purpose of this is to watch the launch, so I reckon that'll be alright. So what way direction are we like? Well, over this way. Okay. So we're going to probably try and come on over this wall. Seriously, here already? Who's shooting at what? Have they just been twice? Okay, that's not an entry point. What you saying? We can barely hear you. Barely hear me? Are you sure? Skaki, your mic is really low, the game is really loud. Let's see, guys. Let me add a filter to get up a bit. How's that, guys? Is that better, or you let me know? Test, mic test. 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me all right? Okay, probably to be honest. Ooh, just cross his nose, man. Right. We need some, because I'm not with the RTD, I can't really say, like, we need guys on this hill, you know? Like, trying to kick some ass. Much better. Cool. MC for the win. Haha! Yo, Morton, how you doing,
Enemy air
man?
transport spotted! Enemy Sunderer spotted!
I play them all.
Vanguard ID
Can't
spotted!
be the man of many.
Vanguard ID in the area!
Like Terran's my true blood, you know. That's what I started with. That's what I'm always sticking with. But
ID
from
on
time to
enemy
time I go
Sunderer.
all the different races and whatnot. Probably get like heat seeking launcher so I can crack damage these truckers, but yeah, he's dead.
Stay alert! Enemy heavy nearby!
Heavy.
Swapping that!
Heavy. Okay. Crap. Get over there. Whoa. Fall back, guys. Fall back. There's doorways. There's doorways monitors. Watch tanks coming around that corner. You guys watch the light assaults coming over the wall. 20 minutes to launch. Those NC boys gonna wreck the mate. Ooh, dude. Jackie's out of here, motherfucker. Oh shit. Ah. God damn it. Outnumbered. There's no TR forces here. They're all pushing against the van now. Maybe I should join them. Then it's just going to weaken the guys down here, isn't it? Well, they're all over this, like, nobody's business. I've got to push the Vanu, help the TR, because once they push the Vanu back a bit, Vanu might thin out and try and fight against the NC, and then we can push back against the NC if you know what I mean. Let's see. Destination. This base. 20 minutes to launch. How you doing? Slacking over here. That's where I'm going. Drink a leg on the way there. Anybody else excited for launch? Anybody else know what's going to be happening? Falcon Heavy. Falcon Heavy's got 3 main rockets that will lift a payload in space. It's actually going to have Elon Musk, Tesla, convertible. We're sending that into. The plan is to send that into orbit around Mars, so his car is going to be floating around Mars. It's like, it's crazy. There's no point to it. But all we have to do is stick some garbage in there. Not literally garbage, but just stick some stuff in there and send it to space. That payload is worth like something to wait on there and test it. I took this thing. I want to get to the point. I don't think they're going to be pushing the point. Thanks, man. Right, yeah, on these guys.
Falcon Heavy is essentially 3 Falcon 9 rockets all strapped together, which means it can carry much larger payloads not only to Earth orbit, but to the Moon and Mars as well. So like Falcon 9, Falcon Heavy is a 2-stage launch vehicle. The big difference is that the first stage in Falcon Heavy is comprised of 3 cores, while Falcon 9 has only 1. Now each one of these 3 cores has 9 M1D engines, making for a total of 27 engines overall. Altogether, those engines produce 5 million pounds of thrust, which is equal to 18 747s at takeoff.
There we go.
In fact, the engines are producing so much power that we don't run them at full thrust all at once. So during ascent, Falcon Heavy will throttle its thrust up and down in both the side and the center cores in order to balance the aerodynamic and structural loads on the vehicle.
I've got too
so
much
about halfway through the first stage's
so
burn,
they have to control
the 2
it so
side boosters will separate and come back to Earth for a simultaneous landing at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station.
Yeah.
More about that a bit later.
What's going on? What's going on, guys? Wait, hold on. Recall.
Wait. At that point, the mission proceeds very much like a standard Falcon 9 flight. The center core will keep on firing for another minute to burn all of its fuel, and it will perform a standard stage separation from the second stage on top. This second stage, with the fairing right at the very top there, the second stage is exactly the same as any other Falcon 9 flight, except we've loaded a bit more helium onto it this time.
Right, so
now, that second stage will be sending our payload way out into a Mars-crossing orbit, which we'll also get into a bit later. But all in all, with a successful launch, Falcon Heavy is going to be the largest and most powerful operational rocket in the world. We're very excited to be launching it today. Let's check in on exactly how it's doing.
Good afternoon. I'm John Innsbrucker, the Falcon Principal Integration Engineer at SpaceX. We're currently at T-minus 17 minutes, 40 seconds and counting down. The good news that all systems are go for launch. We're working no problems with the SpaceX test flight of the Falcon Heavy launch vehicle. Now we're currently loading propellant on all 3 first stage boosters, and we began loading a couple minutes ago on the second stage LOX tank. Now this is the same method that we use on the single core Falcon 9. It just scaled to handle 3 first stage boosters. Now we're loading liquid oxygen and kerosene.
So this could
we do that because in order to support combustion, you need oxygen. And in the vacuum of outer space, there isn't any. So we bring our own liquid oxygen, chilled and densified. You may have heard densified in the past. That allows us to pack the maximum amount into the LOX tanks on the Falcon Heavy. Now our fuel is refined petroleum, RP1. That's essentially just a purified kerosene. It's a safe propellant, easily available, has a lot of history. For example, the Saturn V first stage, flown from the very pad you see on the monitor, from the moon missions, used kerosene and liquid oxygen. Now the big news this afternoon has been the weather, and we've eaten up most of our launch window. Now we won't have the ability to hold the countdown any further now that we are into liquid oxygen loading. The good news is that the winds are looking good. We're working no issues on the Falcon Heavy. However, if there is an issue in the last minute, we won't be able to launch today. There is a backup date available tomorrow. Now, I've said it before, launch is hard, and Falcon Heavy is no exception. We're essentially counting down 3 rockets simultaneously. So the SpaceX team is going to be conservative in case anything pops up in the last minutes. But as the energy and the enthusiasm from the team gathering below me outside of Mission Control Center X is growing, we are go at T-minus 15 minutes and 40 seconds and counting.
Woo. My name is Brian, and I'm part of the software team here. And I'm standing just outside Mission Control as the crowd gathers behind me. We're all anxiously awaiting this very first test flight of Falcon Heavy. Now today, SpaceX has over 6,000 employees in locations across the country. But it wasn't always like that. Now, when SpaceX was first founded in 2002, it was just a small group of engineers who believed that they could reduce the cost of exploring space, but had never actually built a rocket themselves. Now, Falcon 1 was the first rocket we developed, and it was pretty small relative to Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy. While the Falcon Heavy on the right of your screen is over 230 feet tall, Falcon 1 stood only about 70 feet tall and could only carry about a half a ton to orbit. However, despite its small size, Falcon 1 served a very large purpose. It was our roadmap to using modern technologies to engineer a vehicle that was not just more reliable, but was less expensive than alternatives. Now, we had 3 test flights of the Falcon 1 before we found success.
Deploy this, man.
But on that 4th Falcon 1 flight, it became the first privately developed liquid-fueled rocket to reach Earth orbit. Now, fast forward to today, and SpaceX has had 49 successful rocket launches. We have recovered 21 first stages, and we have reflown 6 of those.
Whoa.
We have had 14 Dragon launches and have successfully reused the spacecraft as well. Now, our next step on this journey is just minutes from now, when we'll attempt the first test flight of our heavy lift launch vehicle. Now, there have been many challenges along this long road, and it has not been easy. But no matter what happens today, it has all been worth it. Now, one of the many challenges we're hoping to overcome with this test flight is the recovery of all 3 cores of the Falcon Heavy first stage. Although we have demonstrated success with the recovery of a single core, 3 is on a whole nother level. So let's check in with Michael to get an overview of what that story may look like.
At SpaceX, our primary goal is to enable people to live on other planets, most notably Mars. But it's hard to do this without dramatically lowering the cost of access to space. And the best way to accomplish that is to reuse as much of the rocket as possible. So we've been successful at landing and reusing Falcon 9 rockets for over 2 years now. And Falcon Heavy aims to continue this trend of reusability. So today, we'll be attempting to recover all 3 of the first stage cores by using both of our landing methods, by land and by sea.
Boom.
So the side boosters have actually been used before on missions TICOM 8 and CRS 9. And at the time of booster separation, during ascent, the side cores will still be going slowly enough to turn around. So it makes sense to return them to Cape. They'll be executing a 3-burn maneuver to get them back to landing zones 1 and 2 and Cape Canaveral Air Force Station. You may have heard of landing zone 1. Landing zone 2 is an identical landing pad right next to it for Falcon Heavy landings. The center core will be going too fast to efficiently return it to Cape Canaveral Air Force Station. So we're going to use the autonomous spaceport drone ship to catch it about 300 miles off the Florida coast. It will also be executing 3 burns to get there. So, if all goes well after launch, we'll have 3 first stage cores back on Earth, 2 for the second time, and a wealth of data for perfecting airplane-like operation in the future. So, countdown is still proceeding nominally. So let's check in again on how Falcon Heavy is doing.
We just passed T-minus 12 minutes in the countdown of the test flight of Falcon Heavy. Fuel is completely loaded on the second stage. The first stage is also loaded with fuel, except for a small top-off that'll happen between T-minus 7 minutes and T-minus 6 minutes. Our major activity now is loading liquid oxygen on the boosters and the second stage. Liquid oxygen propellant loading on the first stages will end between T-minus 4 minutes and T-minus 3 minutes. Liquid oxygen loading on the second stage is the last one to finish, ending by T-minus 2 minutes. Now, in addition to loading propellant, the team is preparing to perform their final checks of the Merlin engines. We'll begin chill-in of the Merlin engine turbopumps with liquid oxygen as typical at T-minus 7 minutes like we do on Falcon 9 flights. We'll also be verifying valves and using the thrust vector control actuators to move the engines to verify the actuators are working correctly. As we get to T-minus 4 minutes, the clamp on the top of the strung back will open. You can see it just behind the Falcon Heavy. That entire structure will move about 1.5 degrees away from the rocket. At liftoff, it will move the rest of the way to clear Falcon Heavy, just like Falcon 9 flights. At the T-minus 1 minute mark, the flight computers will go into startup mode. They'll be controlling the countdown on the Falcon Heavy. What's different in this flight, engine ignition will begin at T-minus 5 seconds on the 2 side boosters, followed 2 seconds later by the center core. Now we're continuing to watch the weather, making sure that the ground liftoff winds don't exceed the maximum, but they're looking good right now. We continue monitoring the upper altitude winds as reported by the balloons. But right now at T-minus 10 minutes and 10 seconds and counting, the Falcon Heavy test flight is go.
Because the first flight of Falcon Heavy is a test mission, we do not have a customer spacecraft on board today. Instead, we put something a little special with SpaceX inside the fairing. Now, more often than not, on the first flight of a new rocket, engineers will choose to fly a mass simulator, which is basically a heavy object of some sort to simulate the dynamics of flying a payload, but with little consequence if the mission doesn't work out exactly as planned. And as many of you already know, we have opted to have a little fun with our mass simulator. Stacked inside the fairing is Elon's cherry red Tesla Roadster. And inside of it, a passenger. His name is Starman, but don't worry, he's not human. But he is donning the SpaceX-designed spacesuit that our human astronauts will be wearing on Crew Dragon. And if all goes well today, we hope to get some live views of it as it makes its way into space. Now, in addition to the Roadster, you might also catch a glimpse of a smaller passenger, which is a tiny little Hot Wheel Roadster carrying a tiny little Starman, which is a little Easter egg for today's mission, so keep your eyes peeled for that. But those are not the only payloads we're flying today. Secured inside the Roadster is another really special passenger called an ARC. An ARC is a 5D laser optical quartz storage device, which is essentially a high-tech, high-data storage unit that can survive in the harsh environment of space. It's built by the Arc Mission Foundation, which is an organization whose purpose is to store libraries of human knowledge and data on these devices and send them off into space with interplanetary travelers, thus preserving human achievements well beyond Earth. On the Arc that's being launched today, the Foundation has stored Isaac Asimov's classic sci-fi series, The Foundation Trilogy, which was the original inspiration for the Arc mission. And given that making humanity a multiplanetary species is the core purpose of SpaceX, launching an Arc on this mission just seemed fitting. And last but certainly not least, a little something special for our hardworking SpaceX team. Mounted on the payload attach fitting, which is the structure that holds the Roadster onto the second stage, there's a plaque on which the names of over 6,000 of our SpaceX employees are engraved.
Oh, that's cool.
The work that goes into designing, building, testing, and launching a vehicle of this sort is no small feat. And we are super excited to be a part of the Roadster's billion-year journey through the solar system.
Billion-year journey.
Now, as Lauren just mentioned, if all goes well today, Falcon Heavy will put the Roadster on board into an Earth-Mars orbit around the sun on a journey that could last for 1 billion years. Now, on a universal scale, this means that the Roadster will be tracing the shape of an ellipse with the sun at one of its fixed points, or one of its foci. Now, we call this heliocentric because it is sun-centered. The outermost distance on that same ellipse will intersect the path that Mars takes while it is on its own journey around the sun. That's quite far away. That will reach a maximum distance from Earth of over 400 million kilometers. In Earth terms, that's about the same as a trip around the equator 10,000 times. Now, during its journey, the Roadster will also reach a maximum velocity of nearly 40,000 kilometers per hour, or about 20 times faster than a speeding bullet. Now, as we said, it should stay up in orbit around the sun for about 1 billion years, and it's a very long, exciting road ahead, and we are thrilled to be able to take the first steps on that journey just 5 minutes from now.
6 minutes, actually. 6 minutes 42.
The SpaceX team continues to count down for launch of Falcon Heavy test flight. Now, once we light the engines, Falcon Heavy will check the power on all 27 Merlin engines, a critical period in the go-no-go for launch. It'll then command release from the ground hold-downs. 40 seconds into flight, we'll decrease power on the 2 side boosters in preparation for maximum aerodynamic loads on the vehicle. Once we get through this period, Falcon Heavy will throttle back up to full power on the side boosters.
At the same time,
about half a minute later, we will again throttle down the 2 side boosters. This time we're decreasing the forces on the rocket structure. At this point in flight, the vehicle is much lighter, having burned off much of the propellant, but we are increasing thrust. 2.5 minutes into flight, we'll fully turn off the side boosters, an event called BECO, Booster Engine Cutoff. At this point, the pneumatic separation system on the center core will unlock the 2 side boosters and push them away. The side boosters will disconnect first at the top of the center core, then milliseconds later from the bottom, so they'll actually rotate away from the center core slightly. Once the side boosters are clear, the center core will throttle up to full power and burn for another 25 seconds. Finally, at just past 3 minutes after liftoff, the center core will shut down, an event called MECO, Main Engine Cutoff, and the second stage will separate. From this point on, it's like a Falcon 9 mission. The fairing will separate, the MVAC-D upper stage engine fires, eventually sending the stage and payload out into the solar system to orbit around the sun. So that gives you a feel for the sequence of events we're planning on today's flight. So now, at T-minus 4 minutes, 45 seconds and counting, let's witness the test flight of Falcon Heavy.
Woo! Let's go, man.
Well, we're just going to watch this for like 4 minutes now, aren't we? We finished the talking. So yeah, lift off.
MVAC and A1D fuel bleed has started.
Fuel bleed started.
Slow throttling to close out.
Elon Musk must be breaking it round about now. Obviously he's done loads of these for Falcon 9. But there's effectively 3 of them.
NY lock sled complete.
You can see the little jets coming off the side boosters, so...
PY lock sled, throttling to close out.
Doing all the checks and all the thrusters, etc.
PY lock sled complete.
And landing.
Stage 2 TVC motion's nominal.
Mental. 3 minutes.
Bogo bleed verification.
It's like
center core lock sled complete.
1.6 million.
Turn-back lower has ended. Turn-back's at 88.2 degrees.
1.6 million people watching this. And that's not including like people watching other streams from... Come on. It's got to be the most watched space event since like Apollo 13 and... Not 13. But trip to the moon, etc. Minutes. So yeah, at the moment I'm not planning on doing any planet side after this. I was just using planet side as a burner to get to the main event.
Stage 2 lock sled complete. Falcon Heavy prop load is complete.
So I'll either stream planet side on Wednesday or Thursday. Not sure yet. Most likely Thursday, I think.
Falcon Heavy is on internal power.
Internal power. It's been disconnected from the mains.
Vehicles in self-align.
Ground gas closeouts has started.
Falcon Heavy gas loads are complete. M1D fuel bleed complete.
Anybody want to put the money in? Can you bet on this? Is Falcon Heavy going to blow up, or is it going to survive?
M1D engine chill is complete.
AFTS is ready for launch.
Right. I'm just trying to see if there's any...
Falcon Heavy is in startup.
I don't see anything on this.
Stage 2 pressing for flight.
I would bet that it's gonna succeed. Falcon Heavy flight computers have taken control of the countdown. Last 30 seconds. No human interaction
30
anymore.
seconds.
It's all computer controlled.
Launch director on countdown 1. SpaceX, Falcon Heavy, go for launch.
Crap the bed.
Falcon Heavy is configured for flight.
T-minus 15, stand by for terminal count. 10, 9, 8.
Side booster ignition.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. Falcon Heavy.
Oh, it's going up. That's a bonus. Come on. 500 kilometers an hour.
T-plus 30 seconds. If you can hear me over the cheering, Falcon Heavy heading to space on our test flight. Building on the history of Saturn V Apollo, returning pad 39A to interplanetary missions.
This is the biggest
getting
rocket
ready
in
to
history.
throttle down for max Q.
And it's not even using full power.
You've heard the call out. Vehicle is supersonic. Side boosters are now throttling back up to full power.
Maximum dynamic pressure.
We're past max Q, the period of maximum loads on the vehicle. Next up, we'll be waiting for the side boosters to begin to throttle down prior to booster engine cutoff and separation 2.5 minutes into flight.
Oh yeah, Martin.
GNC trajectory looks good on the Falcon Heavy.
Getting good. 3,500 kilometers an hour.
Reports show that the M1D engine performance is nominal.
All right.
Impact engine says begun.
Side boosters have begun to throttle down in preparation for the upcoming shutdown in 20 seconds.
Martin, you just explained it for me. It's amazing.
Major event coming up with side booster shutdown and separation.
Engine shutdown.
Engine cut off.
Side boosters.
Beacon. Boom! See you later.
S1 keeps going.
None of these boys are gonna come home. Oh, just
still booster boost back starting.
Yeah, this big badass. Gonna cut off his engines in. Still 9,000
Successful
kilometers.
separation. We're coming up on Miko in shutdown.
Stay set. Event recognition. This big burn looks good on side boosters. Background start up.
Coming up on fairing separation.
Center core side engines on fire, also look good.
So even if this part fails, as long as they can get all the stuff but these two blue lines, yeah, it's them more current speed and funny. Yeah, all three of them are going to land themselves. Don't panic. Oh, good one. Replace all the glass with stuff that's obviously not going to smash under pressure. kilometers. Yeah. Fastest Tesla, not in the world, but it's not here anymore. Easily, I'm guessing easily two separate.
Wow, did you guys see that? That was awesome. That's the only thing I can really say right now.
Wild. Absolutely wild. I got nothing else.
Oh, man.
So
recapping all the great things that you just saw there. Successful liftoff from the pad, successful stage separation. But before that, successful booster separation. You can see stage one. The two side boosters, pardon me, you can see the center core, and you can see MVAC lit up. Oh, my gosh.
Then the beautiful shots of Starman chilling in the Tesla Roadster. Just absolutely incredible. On your screen at the moment, you've got a few things happening. On the upper right, you've got MVAC D continuing its burn. On the upper left, you have the center core headed back towards the autonomous spaceport drone ship. And in the two bottom screens, you've got the side boosters headed back towards Cape Canaveral Air Force Station, landing zones 1 and 2.
That middle one, the top left one, is going to be pretty heavy.
The next step coming up for the side boosters and the center booster is the re-entry burn. That's going to slow it down from or slow all the boosters down from way faster than the speed of sound to just faster than the speed of sound in order to reduce some of those aerodynamic forces and heating that occurs when you're moving that quickly through the atmosphere.
So the stage 2 shutdown is going to be for the top right one. When that
and
stops.
as you can see on your screen, that re-entry burn for those 2 side boosters have begun.
The top left one's kind of going pretty quick as well.
Side boosters entry burn is shut down. Side core entry burn target.
The center core in the upper left of your screen performing its own re-entry burn. You can see the edge of Cape Canaveral in both of the side booster cameras as those are coming in.
Yes, PY and NY side boosters have phased.
It's good how both the boosters have got the exact same
and even though
camera.
those look very similar, those 2 boosters views, those are actually representing different boosters. And they're heading towards Earth. They're about to begin their landing burns. We'll hopefully be able to bring you nice footage of that.
Both side boosters transonic.
And watch for the landing lights deploy at the tail end of that landing burn.
Here it comes.
And that landing burn has started.
You can see the other one in the camera.
To be on track towards their respective landing zones.
Oh, like how they just come down. Whatever. Deploy legs. Big kill.
And the Falcons have landed.
LZ1, LZ2, both side boosters have touchdown. Landing off the move on to 11 recovery 1 and recovery 2.
And coming up very shortly,
They just come on and sit down.
the Center Core will be attempting its landing on the autonomous spaceport drone ship.
Never got the big one. We've never done a big one like this before. And this is out in the ocean.
Check on your screen. Sometimes this footage goes out when it approaches the drone ship and the heavy vibrations make it lose signal. We're crossing our fingers that's not the case right now.
Stage 2, nominal parking orbit insertion.
So it looks like that landing is happening at the moment. We have lost signal. We're hoping that signal comes back shortly.
I think you'd have a helicopter around it or something.
Oh, man. Yeah, as Michael mentioned earlier with the vibrations of the rocket and how it shakes up the cameras that are on the drone ship, sometimes we do lose signal or shakes up the antennas.
Oh, and we've just gotten confirmation.
We're waiting to hear what happens, and so we're listening in, and we're still waiting to hear. We'll let you know as soon as we find out. You'll know. People are cheering, but we'll get the call and know hopefully very, very soon how that Center Core is doing, whether it's standing up proud on that drone ship or not.
Meanwhile,
other 2 landings.
those were absolutely gorgeous. Meanwhile, the second stage is continuing its trajectory towards Mars. It's all looking good there. John Ike, come give us a recap of the full mission.
He stands.
Well, if you could hear all that cheering, it was an outstanding test flight of the Falcon Heavy.
There he is. Tesla just floating around.
Camera cycling right now. Live views coming down from low Earth orbit. The second stage successfully got there, and it got there as the culmination of a great Falcon Heavy test flight. We lit 27 engines, throttled the boosters up and down. We separated the side boosters. They came back spectacular, simultaneous landing. The Center Core did its job. The second stage did it. Everything that you could want in a test flight we got here. Now we're just looking for the icing on the cake to find out what happened on the drone show. But all in all, an outstanding test flight for Falcon Heavy.
Wow, what an absolutely momentous occasion. Thank you so much to the range for contributing their expertise to today's launch, the FAA for the licenses to launch and land those boosters, as well as the rest of Falcon Heavy. And thank you to you, the viewers, for joining us for A really, really cool moment here.
And to find out what happened with the Cerner core and what's going on with Starman as he makes its journey through space and all of our other launches, you can visit us at SpaceX.com and follow us on social media on LinkedIn and Twitter.
If you would like to join us on exciting projects like these, please visit SpaceX.com/careers. From the entire grateful team here, thank you again for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Take a look at the old man beating up the wrong guy. Oh man, wonder if you'll ever know who's in the best-selling show.
Because this is
It's their life on Mars.
So they have to send. No, well, otherwise they're just going to put a test load on there for a truck just to make it heavy in order to test whether it can lift. Or what? They're not going to tell us what happened to... Are they going to come back? Oh, it's annoying as hell. So waiting on the tweets and the clues. Camera views from inside the payload. Okay. What's going on, man? Tell us what's going on. So, yeah, it's in space, his car's in space. I mean, if anything, if only 2 of them land, then at least they've only got to rebuild 1 of them, which isn't that bad. But, and the whole purpose of all this, I don't know if query, like, what's the point of landing the other one in the ocean? I guess because it's bigger, it can explode. We'd rather it crash the ocean. Oh, thanks for that. Thanks, Elon. Well, yeah, job done. So, well, that's that over. Let's full screen the webcams. As soon as they decide to throw everything else off. Boom! Or I can boom do that. Yeah, so it's in space, these cars in space, which is a goal to get a payload into space. I mean, the conspiracy. 3rd rocket censored. I think based on what's happened during the live stream, I would say that it's screwed. I'm pretty sure they would have had some eyes on the platform that is not just a camera. I doubt they're going to have a helicopter just landed on a shore somewhere, then have to fly it all the way from a landing point to there to see if it's still there or not. I'm pretty sure someone, maybe 10 miles off in a helicopter, is watching for that to come down. So I'd say that core is effed, to say the least. Yeah. It's weird. What can I say? It's good though. I mean, it's a step forward. They'll have to do another test payload. They'll have to do several test payloads with another core if it's destroyed. If it's not destroyed, then they have to float it all the way back to land and then offload it using a crane and then bring it back to the Space Center, and then they rebuild it again for sending off another payload. If it is destroyed, then they're going to have to build another one from scratch, but only the core. They've still got the side boosters. So I mean, it's still, the whole point is reusable rockets to cut the cost of space exploration, supplying the International Space Station,
They'll make money from, they've already got orders for putting other payloads into space for like satellites and whatnot, bigger than what the Falcon 9 can take. So I mean, yeah, it went well for them, didn't it? They got it into space, so happy days. Right, well, anyway, I'm going to end this stream. I'll be back on, we'll call it Thursday, and we will do some PlanetSide 2, normal PlanetSide 2. We're just getting there with BRTD. I think Thursday night's an op night for BRTDs as well, so it's probably better that we do it then. And that'll be that. So it's all good. Good job, SpaceX. You got the rocket in space. Shame about the core. I'm pretty sure it's gone, seeing as you can't show us it. But I mean, if we get like some sort of indication on Twitter or whatever that it survived, then fantastic. But if not, then I've got someone messaging me from work saying, unfucking believable. I want to know what happened to the main one and if it landed successfully. I'm just going to message him back saying, it's dead, Jim. And I'll leave it at that. Right, anyway, on that bombshell, we're going to end the stream. I will see you on Thursday, and until then, thank you all for watching. Give this video a like, or the stream a like. Comment down below if you're watching the playback, what do you thought of the launch? And from me, Sinkakus, thank you all for watching, and until next time, ciao for now. Don't know why I'm blacking that out, because I'm still here. But anyway, ciao.